Hello and welcome to Sin and Steel, the heavy metal podcast. I'm your host, Sarah-Tonin, and today we're joined by Brenden and Tim of South Australian metalcore band, Those Left Behind. Thanks for joining me, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
No worries. Now, you've both been on the show before, so for anyone who is watching, who's new here or might have missed it, I would recommend you go across to the Metal to the Max vlogs for 2024, because it includes another interview with Tim and Brenden, some clips from their set, and the ridiculous pranks that went on between them and the guys from Suffer the Avenue. That'll give you guys a bit of a background on the band. So in saying that, while we won't do a deep dive into the band itself this time around, if you guys were to summarize, what does Those Left Behind do and what are you all about?
Well, we're just a five-piece metalcore band from South Australia. We like to party.
Yep.
We try to make shows fun and put out some cool music, and we're just five bogans from Adelaide.
The party stuff's really, really big for you too, isn't it? Because I think I saw you post recently kind of that approach comes from you kind of wanting to live every day, you know, to its fullest. Is that right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that was probably the post about I'm Not a Burden, which we've got coming up next year. So that's a charity festival we're playing in January, which we're really looking forward to and really stoked to be a part of, because it's going to raise money for mental support. The band name actually came about because, you know, I've lost track of count of how many mates I've lost to, you know, suicide.
Yeah.
And you know, like you start to feel like those left behind.
Yeah.
You know, to pick up the pieces sort of thing. So in turn for we try to make our shows like the lyrics can get pretty heavy sometimes, but in that it's also we try to weave in positive messages and messages about finding strength in yourself even during the bad times. But we also just try to make the shows as fun as possible, because going to shows for so many years, like the ones that really stick out to me, like one of the best shows I've ever seen was last year at Electric Callboy.
Yep.
And that was just one giant party. And, you know, music has always been a sympathizer, an escape, and something to lean on, but also something to hold on to at the same time.
Yep.
And so we try to make, when people are actually there with us, the best time possible for them, be it bringing out beach balls, starting a rowboat, you know, getting the crowd to tell one of the guys to fuck off. That's happened a couple of times. Usually it's me. So we try to make it a bit larger than life, because life can be pretty average sometimes. But when you've got music and you've got something to go to and you've got good times to reflect upon, sometimes it makes it easier.
It's an awesome approach.
So, yeah. We give it a red hot crack.
I'll definitely echo that, because it comes back down to like respecting people's time. Yeah. So they could be doing absolutely anything in the world at that particular point, but you know, they've come and they're standing there and they're watching your band. That is freaking awesome, man. Like, you know, someone's actually sticking around and liking something that you've slaved away on and, you know, you've thought about for, you know, days and months, and like the fact that someone's actually standing there and actually, you know, giving you the time of day, let alone enjoying it, it comes back down to really just appreciating that particular moment. I'm a massive advocate for that, because like some of the best times I've had is like at shows. So probably one of the biggest callbacks is probably Story of the Year this year.
Yep.
I was there with my best mate who I've known since, you know, grade 2, a couple of other mates, and we're just singing our lungs out. Like, and it was
awesome. Probably
one of the most like fulfilling moments of my absolute life. It was like, I'll arguably say one of the best shows I've ever been to.
Yeah, okay.
And I think yes, obviously Story of the Year are just absolute titans and monsters, but it was also what those songs meant and what they reflected on with such a good group of people over such a long period of time. And then we're all still mates and we're all still loving it.
That's awesome. No, I love that. So today, of course, we're here to discuss the new single, Ouroboros. Is that how you pronounce it? Because I always hear it pronounced differently.
That's how we pronounce it.
Yeah, cool. All right, then I'm sticking with
I hope
that.
it's right.
And look, it will also be featured in full on this episode. But it seems to be a very personal song, and it's also very full of emotion. So, as I kind of mentioned earlier, I'm going to let you guys drive this a little in that I would really like for you to be able to share with us anything and everything that you would like to about the story behind this song, the creative ways that you've represented it, and what it means for you. So the floor is yours.
You're right. It's true.
Do you want me to start first with the music side of things, Timmy, and then you can chime in with the way the music sort of took place?
Yeah, go your hardest, mate. Go your hardest.
So originally, funnily enough, originally this song was named Necromancer.
Okay.
Simply just because I just thought it was a cool name. And me and the other guitarists were just sitting around with like riffs and putting some riffs together. And we started just nutting out this idea that came up at band practice. And it started just progressing through so many different ideas, bouncing back and forth of, where this song was actually going to go, how is it actually going to take place. There is that many different alterations of the song where we were just like, there's something, we really love it. We think there's something really, really cool here. And we, put a heck of a lot of work into it. And yeah, all the old demos were floating around, and even I think some of the old set list were named Necromancer. Until Timmy comes in and he actually puts down his first scratch tracks and his first ideas for what the vocals look like.
Yeah.
And then we were actually getting a bit more of an idea about what story Tim was trying to tell us and where he was envisioning this and what he was trying to sing. And from there, we actually made more changes. So we were actually like, okay, well, this is awesome. This is such a good story. This is something that we want to tell, and we want to really, really frame what the lyrics are. And I think we just really wanted to give Tim a real bedrock to be able to showcase such a passionate storyline that he had. He really, really wanted to tell.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it'd just be so hard, or I guess you have to be so creative in how to approach that when you're trying to portray the same emotion that he's doing through those lyrics. It's something that I find really interesting about these sorts of processes where bands are doing stuff that kind of comes from the heart, how you mold the two things together, the music with the lyrics and the actual story. So that's awesome.
I think it's a nice sort of a way we sort of approach songwriting. So I think from me and Wade being from very much a emo sort of pop punk sort of background, is lyrics and vocals really are the cornerstone of the song. Where with metal, generically it's more of a vocals can almost be put almost as a rhythm instrument. Where if the vocals aren't slapping, well then we were just like, well, we need to do something or write something different to have that, because it's what I listen for. It's what I enjoy out of it. And also, just working with Tim as well is he has such a good ability to be able to adapt and to be able to put part of a bit of a process, and also his message of telling the story of what he wants to tell, and then so we can just frame it as all right, well, let's rather than having the vocals and the music working against each other, let's tell a story. And look, the best way about that is through lyrics, in my opinion, and I think that's what we try and get through.
Awesome.
Over to you, Timmy.
Side note, Brenden still calls it Necromancer.
I do. I definitely do.
Yep.
It's because I can't spell Ouroboros.
You can't spell Necromancer.
Can't spell trampoline.
Yeah, true. Lyrically, the song's about addiction.
Yep.
Be it drug, alcohol, gambling, any other bad habits that we all have. We've all come across addiction in our lives, you know, no one has never not been affected by some sort of addiction. Addiction can be very personality defining.
Yeah.
And it can push people away and ruin friendships, relationships, all of that sort of thing. Especially when the personality traits kind of twist and change. And, you know, once you remove yourself from that, you start to realize that they almost become addicted. The other person almost becomes addicted to your reactions and things like that, to their patterns and behaviors as well and things. And it's basically, you know, it's a strong hoping that, you know, the person suffering from the addiction actually manages to find the strength and get some help and stuff before, you know, their addictions end them.
Yeah.
And everything, you know, everything they love, you know, like, and yeah, those manipulation patterns and everything like that. It's a toughie. It had about 3 or 4 different changes. Because initially it was very spite filled. And it wasn't written in a good place. The end result, though, was more looking back at the time and situation when things happened and hoping that, you know, there was a good resolution out of it and, you know, somebody got the help they needed and things like that, because I think that nobody has ever not been in that sort of situation with someone that they love and care about.
So did you find that process really cathartic, if you kind of were able to go from that kind of angry approach to that more understanding and hopeful approach that I guess it went through?
Oh, 100%. 100%. And it was good, though, because it was also a natural process. Yeah. You know, like, we started writing this song. I've had scratch versions of the lyrics kicking around for a long time now. And we started writing the song musically, I think it was about a year ago.
Yeah.
You know, and it wasn't until I laid down that first session for pre-production, listening back to it, I'm like, wow, that's actually really a negative song. That's not what I want the outcome of this to be, or the end game of this track to be. You know, so I kind of had to really do some reflecting and pull myself back a little bit to actually just sit there and think about what it was I actually wanted to say in it. Which was, you know, like, yeah, you know, like if you're struggling with these things before it becomes too life destroying and consuming, like, get some help.
So I guess on that, the choice of the Ouroboros as the representation was very specific to this, right?
Yes.
Do you want to talk a little bit about how that fits in, how that represents that concept? Because I think you're kind of showing it breaking out of that, right?
Well, it's about that attempt to break out of it, but and you often see it quite often with addicts. You know, like, they will become that snake that is just in that endless cycle of eating itself.
Yeah.
You know, but then there's also the coming full circle is also breaking out of it as well.
Yep.
You know, ending that cycle, you know, and then it in turn creates another cycle in itself.
Yeah.
You know, so that symbolism is really, it's a negative but a positive.
Yeah.
You know, it's a bit of an oxymoron in the fact that it can mean the exact opposite of what it means, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think I get you.
It's like, you know, you bite your tail, it hurts, but you still keep going. Eventually it stops hurting and you start to fix the problem, but that will also then in turn create a better cycle.
Yep.
Well, fingers crossed it does anyway.
Yeah. And so this has come from some personal experience and things that you guys have gone through, either directly or through people that you love and care about? is there any particular, I guess, message and stuff that you want people to be able to get from this?
If you're struggling, get help.
Yeah.
Before it goes too far. If you start to realize it's going too far, you know, because I mean, this is the thing: is people often realize things are going too far before they get to, you know, that car crash point.
Yeah.
Where, you know, it's like you're standing back going, oh, that just happened.
Yeah.
Shit, sort of thing. You know, if you start to see a cycle happening,
yeah,
try nip it in the butt before
definitely.
it becomes something destroying. You know, that's the best thing to take from it.
Yeah.
You know?
I think there's also that sort of underlying message on the outside as well. So you may not be the person who's going through the cycle. However, you're looking through the window of someone that you love going through that cycle. However, that was always going to be the cycle. You should always do your best and you should always lend a helping hand, but you shouldn't, there's always going to be a bit of sting in that. However, you just need to be a good human being and just come to the realization that that was a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
And that was always going to happen. Provide the support, be there, provide forgiveness. However, at the end of the day, you can lead a horse to water.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you can end up being an enabler without trying to be an enabler.
Yeah, definitely.
And that can just be putting up with shit, and letting that person treat you badly. It can be what leads to that cycle continuing.
Yep.
And I've always, my background's in allied health, and I've always had a very interesting, philosophy is never do something for someone that they can do for themselves. Otherwise, you undermine their autonomy. And I think that's a very, very good thing to sort of live by, is provide the support, but at the end of the day, they got to want it and they got to do it themselves. You can't always do it, because as soon as you could get hit by a bus tomorrow and you want the best outcome for that individual, so they need to come to that themselves. So you can't do everything for everyone. Otherwise, you just burn yourself out. It's
interesting. I don't think I've ever really heard anyone kind of phrase it so succinctly before, but it's spot on. And I can't help but think about that in other terms as well. There's manipulative people that will try to get you to do all these things for you, and if you just keep doing them for them, they just keep feeding off it and taking, and all that does is increase what they're doing from there. Different type of cycle, and
100%. I used to do that when I was on the tools working as an allied health professional. I was well, I'm not here to warm you up. There's the program. That's where I need you to be at.
Yep.
Come in 15 minutes early. You have access, and then do that. So that means you're making the most out of the time you are with me. If you want me just to warm you up, we can do that, but you're not going to get the most value out of this particular our time together. So it was definitely that sort of individual empowerment model that I used to very much subscribe to. However, you got to give them the tools to be able to do that. But I was very staunch on that sort of mentality. Yeah,
no, that's good. Before I jump into the next kind of finishing type questions, is there anything more that you'd like to talk about the single specifically?
Necromancer's a sick name.
Do you think the symbolism still stands? If you were to use that as instead of Ouroboros?
No, 100% not. I was picturing something like the Thriller film clip by Michael Jackson, something zombie, because that was something something zombie, something in the crypts, coming up Tales from the Crypt Keeper or something like that. And then Tim actually wrote something meaningful and nothing like a pulp horror sort of thing. I was like, okay, cool, okay.
Yeah. Brenden,
right. Do you need to do a Necromancer song then at some stage?
Yes.
Nope.
To pass the torch?
Nope. Brenden,
not even for Halloween or something?
Memo. Yeah. Look, maybe in 20 years' time we'll do a concept album about death and wizards and shit. I don't know.
No, we're going to do the Thriller dance sequence like perfect. That's exactly what the what you call it, necromancer is going to be.
We should just work that into a song anyway. Like,
not against it.
I'm fine with that. Start getting the crowd. When we finally replace the rowboat, we'll put in replace the rowboat with the Thriller dance.
We're doing this.
The Thriller dance is more accessible too, because it doesn't require you to get down onto the ground. I love watching a rowboat, but I can't go and get involved in a rowboat because my knees aren't going to be letting me get back up again. So
you're stuck there.
See,
do that.
My son loves zombies, and when when he saw the Thriller film clip, him and me were trying to learn the Thriller film clip like step by step by step.
Amazing.
It is actually pretty intense. Like, you're getting probably about 20 seconds in and you're like, ooh, I can't get that low anymore. So,
me and my daughter had that dance nailed she's 15 now, so about 10 years ago.
Nice.
The Thriller dance was a common one in our house. So,
I love that.
Yeah. The elbows and shoulders and stuff don't tend to move as freely as they did back then, but I'm sure that just more sells the rigidness of the dead, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much. That's right. If you bring in necromancers and wizards and shit, you'll get all the nerdy crowd in as well.
We just have to bring it down to like 40 beats per minute so we can actually nail the dance.
Nice. So before we finish up as well, do you guys have much scheduled in at the moment? Any shows you want to promote? New work coming up? What's going on for you guys?
So we've got shows coming up that we can't announce yet.
Okay.
But April, there's definitely something we're going to be doing that we would normally do around the end of April. There's also going to be some more regional stuff coming up.
Nice.
And there's quite a few cool things coming up on the show's front.
Awesome.
January.
Well, yeah, as we mentioned before, I'm not a burden.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we did mention it, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
There we go.
Ah, my bad.
There we go. But yeah, that show is going to be incredible.
Yeah.
We're going to be hitting up the studio quite a bit more. Put out some more stuff because I think about 3 people like it, so you got to keep them happy. Keeps me off the streets and keeps me out of trouble.
No, that's great. And finally, where can people find you? How can they support your music?
Everywhere. YouTube, Spotify, Bandcamp, Stroof. I even think we're still on SoundCloud.
I feel like you guys are one of the few that when you say everywhere, you mean it. Some other people say everywhere, but then it's like 2 or 3 places. I feel like you guys, like, it is everywhere.
Just a little bit.
That's good.
I mean, we've even got some tapes of some of our old tapes still kicking around.
Yep.
Yeah. If people want more physical media, just let us know. We'll start putting out physicals again.
Awesome.
Yeah, we just wherever people want it, we'll do it.
And I think with us as well is our YouTube content might have something different than our Instagram content. Our Instagram content will have something different to our TikTok content. So we try and make it, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but not all a one-stop shop. So if there might be some Easter eggs, might be like a making of or a behind the scenes or something like that. With the film clips at the moment, there's a bit of a narrative in regards to what there's a bit of a story starting at Negative, which is our previous release before we released a video for for Ouroboros. There we go again. Ouroboros is going to tell the tale. Little release in regards to our intro song has a little bit of a backstory in regards to Mad Dog Thompson. So there's a little bit of a tale going on there, and a little bit of an underwriting narrative that we hope people get because we think it's cool. So.
And
Yeah,
so there is a full video coming for Ouroboros?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah. It's in
Okay.
the works at the moment.
Hopefully before the end of January.
Okay, cool. Awesome. No, that'll be good.
Fingers crossed. If we get everything
Yeah.
shot in time, fingers crossed.
Love it. You guys
Yeah.
must have so much fun doing those as well.
A little
Yeah,
bit.
we do. We do.
Yeah.
They're dumb and they're fun.
great.
And it is way much more fun than playing the same song in a room for 7 or 8 hours. I think we touched on that last time we spoke, actually.
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah.
Yeah. We
Because
actually
I think you'd
filmed some
released
of
the
video
first
clips.
one of that series then.
Yes, tonight we
Yeah.
ride. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just happy I get to wear Crocs in the video clip. So if Crocs want to give me an endorsement, I'm wearing you.
We need a Crocs endorsement, yeah. Right.
Yeah. We in the negative one, he even switches to sports mode at some point. Like,
Oh my god.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was going high speed, dude. I went from low speed, high drag to high speed, low drag just with that modification.
Nice.
Yeah, the funny thing is though, his running made Captain Jack Sparrow look sober.
He probably was more sober than me at that point. I do love my rum.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
you
love
do.
it.
You do.
And look, as always, the social media posts will be tagged. All the links will be included in the episode description. So it's piece easy for everyone to get straight across anyway. But yeah. And look,
Yeah.
thanks again for joining me, guys. It's been lovely having you on again.
Thank you so much for having us.
listening to us. We appreciate it so much.
And thanks to all those checking out this episode. Make sure you do all the things like subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Drop us a comment to let me know what you think of the new single and if you've experienced anything similar and what that might mean to you. And until next time, stay metal.
Hey, I'm Tim,
I'm Brenden.
and we're from Those Left Behind. Check out our new track, Ouroboros. It's streaming everywhere now.
Yeah, sick.